The Fred Minnick Show is brought to you by Beeline. Visit findyoursippingpoint.com, by Michter's American Whiskeys, and by 291 Colorado Whiskey.
Welcome back to The Fred Minnick Show. I'm Fred. Let's get to it. This show is brought to you by the Beeline, a Northern Kentucky bourbon experience, a mashup of 5 Kentucky bourbon trail craft distilleries, 6 unique bourbon bars, and 5 bourbon-focused restaurants across from Cincinnati and the edge of bourbon country. Learn more at findyoursippingpoint.com. That's findyoursippingpoint.com. Look, I know we're all isolated right now. We're having to practice that social distancing. But eventually this is all going to let out, and we're going to go sip some bourbon there in the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area. Go to findyoursippingpoint.com. This week's episode is like finding the most talented person who influences music but never got any credit. I feel like songwriters are those people. You know, songwriters are the people who, you know, put so much blood, sweat, and tears and a lot of thought, and they know how to pair their words with the right musician. And they don't really get enough credit, in my opinion. You know, they're not the big stars that everyone talks about. Well, today's guest has an album launching at the same time as this podcast coming out. And so she's making a run for it, you know, coming back in her you know, with her own album after years of songwriting, and she's still writing songs, don't get me wrong. I mean, she is like a hit maker. She's written songs for Miley Cyrus, Blake Shelton. You know, she's one of the most sought after songwriters in all of Nashville. And I'm talking about Jessi Alexander. And Jessi, being a kind of a really renowned songwriter, influenced the trivia question for this week. And that is, what major country singer-songwriter just launched a whiskey? That's right. Someone just launched a whiskey. But I hope you enjoy this episode. Jessi is an absolute lady. She's a fantastic interview. And we drink a little bit of whiskey. Enjoy. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Imagine this, an experience centered around 5 Kentucky Bourbon Trail craft tour distilleries in northern Kentucky, the gateway to Kentucky bourbon. Add 5 amazing bourbon-centric bars and 5 delicious bourbon-focused restaurants, cultivating the freshest takes and culinary delights, and you are on the Beeline. Start your trip today at findyoursippingpoint.com.
At Michter's Distillery, our passion is making the finest bourbon, rye, and American whiskey possible. When you only produce very small batch and single-barrel whiskey as we do, each and every barrel has to be perfect. No detail is too small for our production team. From careful attention to the 18-month or more air-dried wood used in the construction of our barrels, to entering our distillate into the barrel at the costlier lower barrel entry proof of 103 so that it's smoother, to heat cycling our barrel houses, to our signature filtration protocol, we spare no expense in pursuing our goal of making the greatest American whiskey. And no Michter's gets bottled until our master distiller, Dan McKee, and our master of maturation, Andrea Wilson, say it's just right. Michter's Fort Nelson Distillery in downtown Louisville, Kentucky is open for tours and tastings. Book your visit on our website and stop by the bar at Fort Nelson for a world-class cocktail. For more information, follow us on social media at Michter's Whiskey, go to Michters.com, or visit your favorite bartender. Michter's Distillery. It's all about the whiskey.
Holding it together, hoping worse gets better, and there's still money in the bank. Now I know what my mama drank. Yes, she did.
I am joined by an incredible talent, Jessi Alexander. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
And you're a big bourbon fan, or a big spirits fan.
I'm a fan of all spirits. Well, not all, but most, especially the dark ones like these.
What do you normally drink?
Well, I'm obviously, you know, as a woman, most of us, especially moms, we like red wine. So that's where it starts. And then it trickles down into being a Tennessee girl, you know, whiskeys and bourbons and, you know, My husband drinks scotch. I have a little bit of a problem with that. It's a little harsh for me, but
Scotch is harsh for you?
yeah, it's a little much.
Okay.
But
It could
I
be-
like to keep it in the Kentucky, Tennessee
Yeah, okay.
area.
Well, you're keeping the taxes within within where you
And I like
drive.
to take care of my people, pay
Right
them.
on. Yeah. Well, when you do actually buy Kentucky or Tennessee whiskey, you really are helping pave the roads and schools for your
Exactly.
respective areas.
So keep drinking.
So these help the children of Kentucky.
Help the kids. I
That's
love
right.
it. Drink for the kids.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's great for a songwriter.
Well, and you sing or you write a lot about booze.
I do. I have spent a whole career writing songs about drinking, for sure. And thank God I write country music,
So it's like country music. Either you're writing about a truck or a tractor or
Yep.
booze.
Booze, exactly.
Is that like the formula?
It really is. It all kind of revolves around alcohol or a bar stool.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on traditional country music, so those iconic songs,
Mm-hmm.
Hank Williams or on into Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash. We could, so many. But I can remember being a really little kid and singing about Tennessee whiskey or Set 'em Up Joe and all these things. I didn't even know what I was singing about, but obviously found out pretty fast.
So you have an amazing career. You're a pretty iconic songwriter.
Thank you.
So you've written with some pretty big names. Now, my audience typically, knows whiskey, but they're going to know some of the names I'm about to drop here. Miley Cyrus,
Yes.
Blake Shelton. Those are like A-listers, you
Yeah.
know? Not a lot of people can say they got the right songs for people like that.
It's been truly an honor and a long journey of songwriting. It actually started pretty rocky. When I first moved here, people said, "Oh, it's going to be a 10-year town. Just get ready." And I remember thinking, 10 years, my goodness. But man, I can tell you literally it was 10 years to the month when I had my first number one. And those 10 years were grueling. There were a lot of hard knocks and stumbling blocks along the way, but it made the climb, which was my first number one, obviously even more amazing.
And what was it like working with Miley?
Miley's awesome. You got to remember she was 15 at the time, so it's crazy to think that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I just remember I got to be on the set with her here in Tennessee.
Hannah Montana.
The
Yeah.
movie, and so they came to film it here. And I would be on the set. I actually taught her how to play guitar on the song and just spent a little bit of time with her. And I was just so impressed with I didn't have kids at the time, but just watching how a 15-year-old could manage so many things. The dance choreographer would come up and give her feedback, and she'd act like she wasn't even listening, and she'd be like, "Yeah, I got it." And then the director would come in, "Yeah, I need you to land here when you say," and "Yeah, I got it." And everyone needed something, and then they'd say action, and she would crush it, like literally do everything everybody wanted and more.
Wow.
She's truly, I don't think people realize the force of talent. We hear her as a singer and a songwriter, but her acting ability, her dancing ability, just her entertainment in general. So that was my take.
her cousin for a while was my neighbor, and she would, they're from Kentucky, and they came, they were in town they had a show, and I'm pretty sure it was when she was coming out with like her first album, and I'll never forget like walking through the neighborhood with my dog and all these like teenage girls hiding in bushes and stuff, and they would come out and they'd be like, do you know when she's coming? Do you know when Miley's coming? And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, like what the hell? Like, oh, I know. I remember when they called me just telling me that it's going to be in Hannah Montana movie. I didn't even know really what that was, who that was. I didn't have kids. I didn't watch the Disney Channel. And I didn't know the impact, you know what I mean? I knew Billy Ray Cyrus, obviously, being a Nashville songwriter. So, but no one could have prepared me for what it became. And it was right here, actually, at Bridgestone Arena, just to give you a glimpse of who she is when people wonder what she's really like. So this is at the height of the climb. Like, it was probably had already gone #1, and everyone knew it. And she invited me to her show and made sure she knew where I was standing. And right when it came time to do the last chorus at the climb, she looked at the band and shut them down, and she made 22,000 people sing it to me.
Wow.
And it was truly like, artists don't have to do that. I have a lot of artists and different people have recorded my songs, but she knew how that would make me feel. And she just looked at me like, see what you did? Like, this is your song, not mine. And that's, songwriters, we're kind of put in the back, and the spotlight we openly give to the artist. But man, just for a moment to have that was life-changing.
Wow.
And to see the power. I'll never forget writing, those words for me were like self-help therapy, It was all just a bunch of, I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming. I was just writing about my own career, my own struggles. But to look around and see these little girls and their moms and all these ages singing my words and having tears rolling down their eyes because of what it meant to them. It was kind of the first time it hit me, like the power of being a songwriter.
The song you wrote about the Iraq, the veteran, that really touched me. And sometimes it's, I tend to avoid those things because I don't want to have to always go down that path of down that road again. But that one made me feel comfort,
Good. Thank you. That's another ultimate compliment. That song was a journey as well.
And that did really well. That song.
It did. It won Song of the Year for me at ACM and CMAs, which for a songwriter, that's kind of the pinnacle. And but more than anything, it kind of exposed, I feel like it shined a light on the Gold Star families and people that were struggling with the grief of someone not coming home, and what are you going to do with that? You finding the shrine almost in this guy's truck. And we actually got the idea from an NPR special where a father was talking about his son who he had lost in Afghanistan, and the interviewer said, so what are you going to do today on your son on Memorial Day? And he said, I don't know what else to do but just drive his truck. So we, of course, embellished using all of our own. I lost my mom when I was young, so we all had kind of have our own stories, but it was so rewarding to actually find the guy, Paul Monty, and his son Jared Monty, who was awarded the Medal of Honor, and get to hear more of the story. It's just been truly an honor. Now,
they're different trucks, different Gold Star families, but my battle buddy in Iraq, his name was Staff Sergeant Brian Jopek. His son, when we were coming home, his son was going to Iraq as we were coming home.
Whoa.
And he got killed on the last couple weeks he was there. And he had a truck. Yeah. And,
wow.
and he's Brian's preserved the truck. It's a classic truck, and he enters it in car shows everywhere. And it's something that people will never ever understand what it's like to lose a child in war unless it's happened. And I hope to God no one ever listening to this has to deal with that. But losing a child is in itself got to be the most difficult thing in the world.
For sure.
And
we actually flew. I'm a part of a movie coming out called It All Begins With a Song, but it's a documentary about songwriting, and kind of the pinnacle of the movie is where they fly me and my co-writer to Boston to surprise Paul Monty, who doesn't know we're coming, and we get to drive the truck.
Aww.
And I get to go in Jared's room and see his Gold Star, see his combat boots were there, I put on his baseball glove. It was just like so surreal. And we actually found out through this that we wrote the song on the day he died. And so he actually played The Climb at his funeral years before because he died on a mountain. So yet again, another time in my career where it's like, wow, this is so much bigger than me. I'm a vehicle for these stories, for this emotion. And I'm just blessed and honored I get to do it.
Do you get to because you've come to a point in your career where you can pick and choose who you work with? Is that how it works? Like, you get all the artists like line up in the room, and you're like, I want you, get out of here, come work with me. How does that work? How do you choose the artists?
I choose it a lot like I choose my bourbon that I'm looking at.
She's like, stop asking me about music. I would agree.
No, I just think that it's me and you have a lot in common because you have things you like.
Sure.
You ask me, what kind of things I like. So yes, to answer your question, I tend to go with my gut and what I'm drawn to. There's definitely artists that I'll miss by doing that, and I have missed. I don't want to say on air some of the huge artists that I said no to. Just because I didn't feel it. And I was like, you know what? I'm willing to take that chance. There might be a huge star, but I don't feel like I can contribute. That's kind of how I gauge it. Do I feel like I'm very blue collar thinker? I'm like, I have a tool belt. Do I feel like I have a tool that can help build their house? And if I don't, then I'm kind of out. But I will miss a lot of great stuff that way. And it's just, you just take the shots.
All right, so Blake Shelton, I don't think there are any names bigger than him right now in music, not just country music, but music in general. He's enormous. How did that relationship come to be? Did you choose him? Did he choose you?
That's so great. We have like chosen each other. We've been through so much together. You got to remember a lot of these artists and we all came up together. People like Dierks Bentley. I was at his first showcase, or Blake Shelton, Miranda Lambert, Little Big Town, all those people I was signed with in my first publishing deal, and we all had nothing going. So Blake was one of those people. I was friends with him and Miranda. Just kind of, my husband actually knew Miranda's dad they were both police officers. So it was just kind of a family, affair until then. Obviously, he started to record some of my songs. I went through a phase and still kind of in a phase where I just wanted to write songs for men. I tend to think more.
Wait, what does that mean? I want to write songs for men.
Okay, yeah, you're looking at me going,
like
this girl. She's So
no, it's not. This has nothing to do with the fact that you're a man or woman. It's like I'm fascinated with like people fail all the time about targeting a gender. Yeah, and you've been able to successfully do it. Like how? What?
Let's dissect that. I don't know, but for whatever reason, when I write songs, even The Climb, people will be shocked to know I wrote that song from a guy's point of view. I don't know what that says about me. It's very bizarre. I like male energy. I like male thought process. I feel like I can connect with the way y'all think sometimes more than a woman, and I know that's weird. Trust me, I've tried to figure this out. When I'm sitting with two guys, I feel like I can help them easier.
Is it because we're more simple-minded? We're more like,
I like to add something to your simplicity, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, we are very much hungry, eat, drink. Sometimes we're not that complex. we're pretty basic in a lot of ways.
And I feel like men, growing up listening to country music and the songs men just got away with a lot of stuff too. They get to say a lot. They can be more risque. I write songs that are pretty risque. I mean, me and Blake have had two songs on the radio. One said make up sex and one said prick in it. So they can get away with a lot, and I like to push a lot of boundaries. Not to say women can't. I mean, Loretta Lynn she was the queen of honest songwriting and raw kind of storytelling. But Blake and I, our first hit together was called Drink on It. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, it was just an exchange of every time I would write a song, I would just think about Blake, would he say that? And I would send it to him, and we just have had a great connection. We've actually written songs together, which is really cool. We just wrote something for Angry Birds, the movie.
Oh, wow.
So we've written gospel
two or
songs.
Three? Or?
I wrote the first one with Blake Shelton, Angry Birds 1, and then Angry Birds 2 I just had out with Luke Combs. Okay. So I guess I'm the Angry Birds girl.
All right, so there's a lot of name dropping there. What's a new name that you've discovered that you wrote some music for?
New artists.
Yeah, new artists you like that you maybe did some work with.
Yeah, I think he's going to be at your festival. Riley Green is an incredible, really, really incredible songwriter, singer, Hunter. He's just a great guy, and he's someone that I really kind of was early on. People were sending me YouTube videos of him, and I was just really drawn in. I like Southern rock, Southern music. I grew up on a lot of that kind of stuff. So he has, songs that kind of cover that ground. He's one. I mean, gosh, there are so many. This Travis Denning is a new artist that's coming out. That's incredible. Parker McCullum's from Texas. He's it's endless.
Well, before we get into the bourbon side, which I know you're itching.
Yeah, look at me. I'm just like,
I know you really want to get into this. Like you're jumping out. So not that you haven't been a singer the whole time, but you're really coming out very strongly right now as a singer. I've listened to your stuff. You sound beautiful. I love your voice. What's the difference from why are you coming out so hard on like a record now versus being more in the back as a songwriter?
That is such a good question. Thank you for asking, because it is bizarre. Like a year ago, I could not imagine that I'm even sitting here talking about my record. You have to remember that for me in Nashville songwriting, it's a pretty 9 to 5, 10 to 5 day. I mean, we write every day, or I do, right here on Music Row, and every day what's on my brain is how am I going to get Blake Shelton's next single? How am I going to get on Tim McGraw's new record? How am I going to, because I got to pay the bills. It's very much I think people think as songwriters we're just sitting around smoking weed and like jamming on our guitars, and that can happen too. I've written some songs late at night like that, but typically in Nashville Music Row it is kind of a grind. So what happened was a couple songs. The first song that came out was a song called I Should Probably Go Now, that it's kind of this late night drinking, cheating song that I almost didn't finish because it was a female song, and I don't write female songs. So I was like, I actually tried to maybe pitch it to a couple female artists, but every time I would go to do that, I thought, oh, there's something. It felt like it was mine. Mm-hmm. So I wrote that one, and then I wrote the title track called Decatur County Red, which is a song about where I'm from. And I started to visualize like a concept record, and I cut the first stuff, and it just was magic. And for some reason I just couldn't shut my laptop on those songs and just put them in my little database of songs. It just felt like this needs to be heard, and I still didn't think anything about it until I started playing those songs live. I played Momma Drank, which is the first song that came out. I played it.
Mama's about to drink again.
And Mama's about to drink. I played Momma Drank and just kind of was like, oh shucks, I got a new song, because people are used to hearing me sing the songs I've had recorded by other people.
Yeah.
But I played Momma Drank, and I'll never forget, it was for a fundraiser in Austin, and the place literally erupted when I sang got to the first hook of the song on their feet, to a point where, I've had, wonderful applause and things, but it was kind of a crazy feeling. And then I had just so many people come to me like, you have to put this out. And I still was thinking, oh, aren't y'all sweet? But I feel like this record just needed to come out. So I know it's a long answer to your question, but it really...
Only you could sing it.
It's complex, and I don't really know why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it for pride or ego or even money and fame. For me, this is just making music.
It's passion.
And doing hopefully leaving something for my kids, a statement.
I love that. That's such a beautiful answer. Well, now it's time for for me to do a little songwriting or pair writing, or however you want to put it. I'm going to ask you a series of questions that's going to help me nail down your palate, so that I can pair for your palate the very perfect bourbon that I have, or whiskey that I have up here, because I have more than just bourbons up here. What is your favorite food?
Popcorn.
We got popcorn. That's your favorite food.
It was
That's
between
fantastic.
that or white beans and cornbread.
Yeah,
Sorry, it was that's what
These are.
those are the two solid answers. Those were it's either one of
Wow.
those.
Now, do you like butter on your popcorn? You like a sweet popcorn? You like
I
it salty?
don't like sweet. It's got to be salty, but it could be
Okay.
white cheddar. It could be dill. It could be nacho. It could be
God, I'm
just
getting-
not sweet.
I'm getting like really hungry right now.
Thinking about
Like I want to go like so.
Popcorn's like the perfect food.
It's great food to me. It resonates with me because I go to the movies a lot with my 6-year-old boy, and we always get a bag of popcorn.
Have to have it.
And it's like it's a father-son time. It's like a bag of popcorn.
I eat popcorn every day almost.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, it goes to
So,
show you that
I'm gonna go
getting
with
rid of carbs is not a good
I'm gonna
idea.
go with popcorn. No, I
Okay.
love carbs. I'm full fan.
Okay, so you're more in the savory camp. You like
Definitely.
savories over sweets. Okay. I got to tell you,
Bet
like,
you've never heard popcorn.
well, the thing is like what I did here is I grabbed some products here that I thought would this one actually. Okay. So I need to make sure that there's a couple notes in this one that I think I gotta like qualify with, see if you like them. Do you like nutmeg, like pumpkin pies,
Sure.
like fried pies? You like fried things?
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, not like it wouldn't be necessarily my favorite.
This has a popcorn note in it actually, but it's so this is Old Fitz bottle and bond. By the way, this glass has a logo on it. There, it's a C4 foundation. That's a foundation for a fallen Navy SEAL that I do some charity work for. But they do a lot of Charles Humphrey Keating was like this like he was like the Avenger of the Navy SEALs. He was brilliant.
That's awesome.
He had passed away, and they've got a foundation in his honor.
Can we cheers to him?
Absolutely. To Charles.
To
Cheers.
Charles.
So I didn't get a chance to do like a tasting tutorial with you beforehand. So when you smell it with your mouth open. By smelling with your mouth open, you're not just beating your nose up with the alcohol fumes. And then you should pick up like the various aromas there, but also detecting the bad stuff. And then you put a little bit on your palate and just kind of feel it like balance back and walk around a little bit.
Okay, let's do it. That is delicious.
That totally does have the popcorn note there too in the back for me anyway.
It's like that salty.
Yeah.
That's
This is
great.
not a note that I get in a lot of whiskeys, and I had gotten.
That's really good.
I picked up most of these whiskeys to pair to your palate based on the preliminary things that you told me, and you really didn't like sweet over sweet. And what was the other thing you really didn't like that I brought up?
I don't like sweet, and I definitely don't like grapefruit.
Grapefruit, yeah, I asked about grapefruit.
Like honey, I hate to say I don't like honey because I do, but I just
No, the question was, do you like grapefruit and honey together?
Yeah.
Because there's a couple bourbons up there that have like a grapefruit
this is
honey note.
delicious.
So this is Old Fitzgerald Bottled and Bond. It's 15 years old. It was released last year, fall of last year. It's a very nice bottle. It's very nice. Hard to get, but very, very yummy.
So how much is like a glass of this?
Oh, it should be about $25.
Okay.
But some people will price gouge it to $100.
Solid.
Never underestimate a company's ability to price gouge. Now, because you did like the flavor deal, that bottle there on the far left, that one there has a nice little deal note in
Ooh,
there.
and it's wild turkey.
And so does the other one next to it, Old Forester.
I just love the branding and the artwork of this one.
Yeah, so this is a limited edition release. This is their revival. It's a rye finished in a sherry cask. I'm sorry, it's a bourbon finished in a sherry cask, not rye. But it's got like a lot of like herbally and earthy notes.
Mm-hmm.
And the one next to it, and so it does have a hint of dill in it. And then the one right next to it there, the Old Forester,
Yeah.
that also has a dill note to it.
this is good for me because, you know, I like to put different alcohol names in my songs, you know, because we've worn out, you know, a lot of Jack Daniels, for example.
Do you have to like get a license from people for that?
No, but like Wild Turkey, that's a, you know, that's pretty awesome. Old Forester, I've never heard that in a song. It needs to.
I've
in a song.
You know, I'm down on my luck. Old Forester's in my cup. You know,
Dude, yes,
maybe
opening line right there. Times are tough.
Times are tough. My dog died.
Yes.
My wife left me. I don't know.
You're on a roll.
Listen to enough country music. I just need to get a tractor and a truck in there, and then I'm good. All right, give me another note that you really want to taste.
But I really like your questions.
You like me doing the questions?
That's fine.
Okay. What is something that what's an alcohol you can't drink because college or something?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Southern Comfort.
Okay. Interesting.
21st birthday.
Too much Southern Comfort.
I was on stage, and everyone knew it was my 21st birthday. And I am a diehard Janis Joplin fan.
Yes, she was a whiskey fan too, by the way.
And had been, you know, learning all her music, singing her songs. And I had my velvet bell-bottom pants on that night.
Nice.
And I felt like I was in the full Janis Joplin mode, which meant I needed to drink Southern Comfort, which was her drink.
That's right.
So I didn't really realize the power of Southern Comfort. And let's just say I wound up in my car in the parking lot the next day. I mean, thank goodness nothing happened to me, but that was the last time I'll ever drink Southern Comfort. And really, I don't drink much on stage because of that night, because I truly don't remember, like, shutting down the band. Like what was my last song? Like, how'd I get out of there? Like, it's crazy.
Everybody has like their own protocol, and I've talked to a lot of musicians. Some like to drink beforehand, some like to drink after. Some drink so much they have to go sober, or they're just it's over for them, you know. So I'm glad that you found out early on. You know.
Yeah, I'm a kind of a nurse of beer through the set first, like maybe sip on a glass of wine, and then drink after the gig.
Okay.
But I can have it on stage, just kind of sip on. But I like to be too much in control of my guitar playing, really, and my singing.
So I'm going to go down some flavors.
Okay.
Do you like maple syrup or molasses more?
Molasses.
Okay.
Okay.
So this won my American Whiskey of the Year for 2019. And we're going to kill it together.
Let's kill it together.
Cheers.
Cheers to Janis.
Yes, she was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah,
oh, yes, I taste. So much going on in this.
Yeah.
I taste the molasses. That is so good.
That's King of Kentucky.
I just wonder if all your listeners right now, like, are they drinking with you? Like, are they drinking with us right now?
Well, very rare, very unlikely chance that they can get this bottle. They can get a bottle.
I wish they could, so they could taste what we just had.
I know. It's sometimes, you know, I do taste a lot of stuff that everybody can get, but like that Old Forester rye right there, that's my everyday, that's like one of my favorite everyday whiskeys. It's made actually by the same people who make this. It's
that
Brown
King
Foreman.
of Kentucky that's another one's gonna have to go in a song.
When she left me, I knew I had to reach for the King of Kentucky.
Only the King would do.
And then I met him.
Yeah, man, that's good.
All right, now I've always wanted to gamble in songwriting because I've written 7 books, and I can't. I don't know how many more books I got in me, but I do like to sing in the shower. I cannot sing a lick, and I can't play any instruments, but by God, I can write.
Hey, be a songwriter.
How is it? What is the like? I hear songwriters talk a lot about like there's all kinds of drafts. They go back and forth. Like, do you write the lyrics first and then think of the music that goes with it? Or do you like have a sound in mind and then you put the words to it? How's that work?
Yeah, I think every songwriter is definitely different in that. I would call myself a chameleon. So, like, for example, The Climb, that melody came to me in the car on the way to work. And I had no idea what it meant or what it was about. And so, you find the words to go with the music. I Drive Your Truck, though, totally lyric. It was literally a lyric, just 50, 89 cents the ashtray, half empty bottle of gay red wick. We just had all this written out, and then we had to find music to go for it. So a lot of times a song idea will just tell you what it wants to be like. You'll just start singing, like, let's say you have a title, and you're like, gosh, it just feels right. Or you could give me a title or a word, and I could just sing how that makes me feel. And there are quite a few drafts. To answer your question about that, it's like there's been times that you might edit a song 2 different writing sessions. I Drive Your Truck took, I think, 2 for sure co-writes for us to get it finished. But then there's songs that you really you can write in like an hour and a half and it's over. And people are like, how did you write that in an hour and a half? And a lot of it is just craftsmanship because we do it every day. You just get good at it's just like building cabinets or any other job, you just get good at it. But there's sometimes that songs just come out because they want to be written.
Yeah.
So it's just every song's different.
Well, that's awesome. My brother is a guitarist. He got all the musical talents of our family. I got none. Actually, he says I have a really good offbeat, whatever that means. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I think that might be his way of saying I have no beat, but...
Offbeat. I like it. You got a good offbeat.
Yeah, I got a good offbeat, which means I have no beat. But thank you so much for coming on the show. I feel like like we could drink bourbon for a while and solve the world's problems.
We
could. Just cheers to you and for having the guts to come out and like release an album that kicks some ass.
Thank you.
You Mama's got a drink.
Mama's drinking.
Mama's drinking.
Yep.
So, cheers. And thanks again for coming on the show. Cheers.
Cheers.
Clean, clean, clean that kitchen. Wipe them baby's tears. Hearing your old man bitching while he's
Wasn't Jessi a great guest? Think about all the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into and the guts it takes to make it in Nashville. There's a story that was done on Jessi a few years ago about how she kept failing and failing and failing until finally she made it. And she's just one of those people who you just root for. And so when Rolling Stones named her one of her songs to be one of the most must listen to songs in country right now, that's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting to see a woman who's fought and clawed as a songwriter, kind of come out with an album and really just crush it. And so the answer to the trivia question is what singer songwriter in country just launched a whiskey? The answer to that is John Rich. John Rich launched a brand called Redneck Riviera, and it's a partnership with Eastside Distilling. So John Rich is one of these kind of polarizing country stars. He's like super, super country. And, he just kind of, he reminds me, honestly, he reminds me of this guy I grew up around in Oklahoma. We called him Tex, and he was just a big old stout guy. And he shoot horses for a living. So like his job was to go around the state and put horseshoes on horses. And that guy got kicked about 3 times a day. So I don't know if that means he was a good he was good at what he did or not very good. So got a little bit of listener feedback for you. But first, a word from our sponsors.
291 Colorado Whiskey aims to create a one-of-a-kind, bold, and beautiful Colorado whiskey. Rugged, refined, rebellious. Distillery 291 is an award-winning small batch whiskey distillery located in Colorado Springs, Colorado, nestled in the shadow of Pikes Peak. Owner and founding distiller Michael Myers grew up on family farms in Georgia and Tennessee, across a countryside defined by rolling hills, horses, and whiskey. He set out to create a flagship whiskey that evoked the Wild West, a cowboy walking into a bar saying, "Give me a whiskey," and the bartender slamming down a bottle of 291 Colorado whiskey. Find a bottle near you at 291coloradowhiskey.com. Write it like you stole it, drink it like you own it, live fast, drink responsibly.
So today I'm going to go to Twitter and read you some comments. We're kind of in this like new norm, right? And at the time that I'm recording this, I can go out to a store and buy something. I don't know what it's going to be like when you listen to it, but anytime the actions of living right now to go get things, it's just really, really weird. I mean, you're walking around stores and you're trying to stay 6 feet away from someone. You see one of your really good friends and you normally go up and slap them on the back and say, "What's up?" So last week was my wife's birthday, actually. And I always like to do something special on her birthday. So it was my turn to make dinner. And this is, I tweeted this. I just got my wife a birthday cake and necessities, parenthetical groceries. I didn't want to be judged there for going out. Used doggy waste bags to push my cart. That's true. I put dog bags around my hands and pushed the cart. Wiped everything down before I touched, and I'm about to change my clothes. Hello, new shopping routine. So Python DS says, welcome to the new norm. I Am Legend wrote, "Don't forget to shower." And there was a funny meme of an Everclear chamber of a guy in a yellow suit getting sprayed down with a bunch of stuff. Whiskey Daddy writes, "Life hack, an ascot works better than a surgical mask in preventing COVID-19 from being inhaled." I wish that were true. I'd be in good luck. Ed Bly writes, "I added a Ziploc bag of rubber gloves to my car for gas and grocery pickups because, ew." And Dulcia Caro, Dulcia, I hope you're well. Tell Dave I said hi. She says, "Stay safe. Hugs to the family. Heart, heart." Yeah, and that's really everybody out there. Stay safe. We're going to get through this. Everything's going to be fine. I think economically is where we're really going to see the greatest. We're going to feel the greatest pressure from an economic perspective. All of us are, and so we got to band together. We got to work together. We got to help one another, and let's follow the guidelines that our leaders are putting out there for us to follow, because I do think they are genuine, and I think they're meant to be to protect us. So let's hope that in 2 weeks' time we look back on the coronavirus as it's in the rearview mirror and we're moving ahead. But I'm going to keep plugging a lot of content out because of this, and I really am trying to put some stuff out there on YouTube, especially. So if you're not following me on YouTube, go over there, search my name, Fred Minnick. And make sure you're following me on the Instagrams, the Twitters, the Facebook. I'm just pumping stuff out as much as I possibly can. And if you're following me on Instagram, you might see a story of me with my 1-year-old, who's a real joy to be with. That is one of the things that I kind of like about this. I get to spend more time with my kids. But that's going to do it for this week's episode. If you haven't yet, please press that subscribe button. Give us a rating. Tell your friends about us. We're still a new podcast, and look, we're doing really well. We're ranked in all the categories that we're a part of, but the fact is it's still new, and there's still a lot of people who need to be listening to this, and they're not. So tell your friends. And I tell you what, if you tag me, let's do this. If you tell a friend and you tag me on Twitter or whatever social media that you use, I will mail you a Fred Minnick Show sticker. So get on it, get out there, tell your friends, and let's get some new listeners here to the Fred Minnick Show. And I cannot wait to talk with you again next week. Have a safe, and healthy 7 days. Until next time, I'll see you later.
You've been listening to The Fred Minnick Show, brought to you by Beeline. Visit yoursippingpoint.com, by Michter's American Whiskeys, and by 291 Colorado Whiskey. For more information on this podcast and all things Fred, just go to fredminnick.com.